A series of chilling new warnings from the highest ranks of government on the global terror threat. In remarks in our London embassy, Acting Homeland Security Secretary Lane Duke said this: the terrorist organizations, be it ISIS or al-Qaeda or others, want to have the big explosion like they did on 9/11. They want to take down aircraft. The intelligence is clear on that. Her comments echoing the warning from Britain's MI5 chief and our own Attorney General.
The military tells us they can expect not a reduction after ISIS is defeated, but maybe even an increase in attacks.
That threat is multidimensional, evolving rapidly, and operating at a scale and pace we've not seen before.
MI5 says they've taken down 7 plots in 7 months. Here now, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Waltz, CEO of Metis Solutions and a Fox News contributor, and Buck Sexton, a former CIA officer who served in Afghanistan. Gentlemen, welcome. Good to have both of you here.
Thank you.
Colonel, let me start with you. In terms of what happened in Raqqa and the need to continue to go after those sanctuaries and what kind of impact it actually has on these more farther-flung operations in other countries.
Well, you know, our intelligence community, law enforcement, our governments can only play so much defense. The key here is offense, and the best form of defense is offense. We have to continue to take down those sanctuaries. You know, every night that some of this terrorist leadership is thinking about a missile coming through their window is a night that they're not planning and plotting against the United States. We have to go after the sanctuaries. That's why staying engaged in places like Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, Libya, Niger, and other places is so critical. That's in the short term. In the long term, you know, we need a strategy in place to go after the ideology. It's relatively easy to bomb a tank, very difficult to bomb an idea, and we are at war against Islamic extremism. It's at war against us, and this is a global effort. But we cannot just sit back on our heels and hope to stop it at the borders. We have to fight it in Kabul and Kandahar, not in Kansas City.
All right. Buck, in terms of the homegrown terrorist, talk to me about what you think you're hearing in all of these little messages that are being sent from these different individuals who are very plugged in.
This is a momentous week in the fight against Islamic extremism. Raqqa has fallen to our allies, and the Islamic State has been defeated, at least as a state, but it does continue on as an ideology. So now you'll have Islamic State affiliates, ISIS affiliates around the world, as well as those who are just adherents to the ideology, looking to regain some relevance for this idea of the global jihad. They'll be looking to claim the leadership of jihadism once again with a mass casualty attack. They can't orchestrate a government anymore. They're on the run. They're actually being routed.
Are they organized enough to pull off the kind of thing they pulled off on 9/11?
It doesn't take that much to pull off a mass casualty attack. And given the amount of resources spent, particularly in Europe and here in America, to thwart the lower tech, lower skilled terrorist attacks, if you will, the edged weapons, vehicles, smaller explosives, we're not really looking at those long-term strategic possibilities, strategic terrorist attacks, the same way that we were right after 9/11. And for a group like the Islamic State to regain relevance once again, I think there's an understanding in their leadership circles that they need a spectacular mass casualty attack, because then they'll have recruits all over the world again, and it will restart that narrative of a global jihad that they can actually win, because right now they are losing.
It's chilling to hear the talk of airplanes and laptops again in terms of a potential plot when you look at this. I do want to take a moment with you, Colonel Waltz, while looking at what General Kelly had to say today, and we played a lot of it at the top, and I know that you had a chance to hear it. Yeah. You're a former Green Beret. You did operations in Niger, similar to this one. Let's put up what Frederica Wilson, the congresswoman who has been at the center of all of this, said after General Kelly made those comments. She said, General Kelly is trying to keep his job. He will say anything. There were other people who heard what I heard. Your thoughts?
Listen, Martha, let me be clear here. As a commander, I've had to write those letters. I've had to make those calls. There is nothing more difficult in the world to do. Those men were out there doing what they loved. It's the families that have to suffer. They get 3 choices. Yeah. They get that we don't come back, that we come back missing arms and limbs, or that we're not right mentally and not the same as how we left. There is nothing more sacred than that.
Colonel Waltz, thank you for your service, and Buck, thank you.